If you've ever wanted to build a clean and fast REST API with Node.js, but without all the unnecessary complexity, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to spin up a fully functional Express API using only the essentials: TypeScript, routing, middleware, and error handling. No distractions, just the tools that actually matter. And if at any point the code feels a bit overwhelming, feel free to check out complete guides for Node.js and JavaScript that I linked in the description below. They're great not only if you are just getting started, but also if you're an experienced developer looking to refresh your skills or fill in a few knowledge gaps.
I am in an empty folder in the Visual Studio Code. Let's go ahead and quickly create our application. We will start with npm init-y. We got package.json initialized. Let's go ahead and install the dependencies. Since we're going to be working in TypeScript, we're going to be installing TypeScript, types node, and a tsconfig node22. This is the base for tsconfig that we're going to be using, and we're going to be extending the node24 config base. Currently, Node is in long-term support, version 24. If you have a different version of Node, when you're watching this video, you're obviously going to change it to the version of Node that is current for you. And we're going to be installing this as a dev dependencies. Let's go ahead and create tsconfig.json file in the root of our folder. And in this file, we're going to put the following code. As I mentioned before, we are going to be extending tsconfig node24 and tsconfig.json file, and we will be putting all our TypeScript files in the src folder. In the compiler options, we will specify our output directory as the dist, and root directory will be the src. We will also specify force consistent casing in file name as true, and we will set source map as true as well. We will need source map to troubleshoot our application. We are compiling our TypeScript into JavaScript files, and when the error is thrown, the error stack will give us the JavaScript file. However, we are coding in a TypeScript file, so source map will let us map the JavaScript file into corresponding TypeScript file, and that way our debugging will be much easier. However, source map configuration option won't work by itself. We will need to install another library, and this library is called source map support. So let's go ahead and install it with npm. Great, we're all set with the TypeScript. Let's go ahead and install Express and other libraries. We will do npm install Express, Course, and Morgan. We will also install the types for Express, Course, and Morgan as a dev dependencies. Great, now let's create src folder and scaffold our application. So in the src folder, we will create server.ts file. So in the server.ts file, we're going to put the following code. First, we're going to import source map support register from the package we installed earlier. This will help us to map JavaScript files into TypeScript files. We will be importing also Express from Express, Course from Course, and Morgan from Morgan. First, we are going to create an app, right, by calling Express. Then we're going to put app use Course, and Course is the middleware. This middleware will allow us to accept the requests from the web browsers that are made with a fetch request, right, or AJAX request. By default, browsers will only allow to make AJAX or fetch calls to the domains that the application is served from, but the Course package will tell the browser, or basically is going to create the headers that will tell the browser to say it's okay, you can send the request to a different domain, the domain where our API is served from. The next middleware is Morgan middleware, and this middleware allows us to log requests that come into the application, and there are different formats there. I usually use tiny format. If you want to learn more about middleware, you can just go ahead and look at the documentation. Finally, the third middleware that we are going to be using is express.json middleware, and this middleware will let us parse the body of the incoming request. We're going to be using JSON body in our requests, so express.json middleware will parse the body of those requests. Finally, we will export default our Express app. Now in the src folder, let's go ahead and create index.ts file. In this file, we will use the code to run our application. We're going to import our Express application from a server.ts file. We'll then specify the port by using parse integer, and we'll get the port from the process env. And if the port is not specified, we will put the default port of 3000. And then we're going to call the listen method on the app. We will pass the port, and we also put the console log express is running on the port, and we're going to use the port that we specified. And since we're taking this port from the environment variables, I will show you how to load these environment variables from the .env file. Now let's go to package.json file, and we will create the commands that will allow us to build, start, and run our application in dev mode. So build command will use the TSC. The start command will basically run the index.js file that was built in the dist folder. And the dev command will actually let us automatically restart files when the files are changed and load env variables from the .env file. So here the tswatch command will basically look for files, TS files that are changed, and on success, it will run the command node dist index.js to run the index.js compiled file. And then .env command will basically let us load the variables from the .env file. However, this command won't work by itself, as you already guessed. We will need to install a couple of libraries. Those libraries are tscwatch and .env CLI. Let's go ahead and install them as the dev dependencies. Now let's go ahead and create a .env file in the root of our folder, and we can put a couple of environment variables here, and specifically Node.env, it will be development, and the port that we're going to be using, in our case, we'll just put it as 3000. In production, you will specify environment variables depending on where you are deploying the application. There will be specific instructions. However, in development, they will be picked up from the .env file using the package .env CLI right here and command .env. Great, we're all set. Let's try running the application with the command npm run dev. And we got the message, Express is running on port 3000. This is great, our application is running. However, it doesn't do anything, right? Because we don't have any route handlers. Let's go ahead and create them. But before we do, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We will create routes to handle tasks CRUD, or namely create, read, update, and delete tasks. So let's go ahead and create in the src of our folder, the folder name routes. You can name this folder however you want, but there is a convention to name this folder routes because we're going to be placing our routes in this folder. So let's go ahead and create tasks.cs file in the routes folder. And in this tasks.cs file, we're going to put router, which will be an express router that we will use for the tasks. We will create the tasks router by calling a router method with a capital R on the express that we're going to import. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to create the get route. This route will be responding with a JSON, and it will give us the list of tasks, right? The next route is get task by ID. We have a route parameter ID that we get it from the request, and then we'll respond with JSON, faking this task ID as if we're sending this task back to the user. The next route will be to create a task, right? We just get a title from the request body.title and then complete it from the request body.completed. And as you remember, we installed express.json middleware. It will help us to parse the body of the request right into an object where we can grab title and complete it. And then we're going to respond back with JSON with the same properties, faking that we created the task. Next, we're going to have a put route. This route will update the task, and the request params.id will tell us which task we're updating by ID. And again, we'll just fake respond with a JSON that we updated the task. Finally, we're going to use the delete operation or delete route to basically delete task. Again, the ID will be specified in our route parameters, and we will respond with a success message that the task with the specified ID was deleted. Now let's go ahead and add the task router to the server.ts file. So we are going to import the task router from routes tasks.cs file. And then below the middlewares, we will put app_use/tasks. This will be our request prefix, and we put the task router. And it is important to put this task router below the middlewares, specifically below the middleware express.json that will allow us to parse the JSON body of the requests. Finally, let's go ahead and create an error handling middleware. So in the src folder, let's create another folder called middleware. And in this middleware folder, let's create a file called error-handler.ts. And we're going to put the following error handling middleware in this file. Error handler middleware helps me uniformly handle errors that are thrown by the application. This can be an unexpected errors, right, that I don't know even exist. They're going to fall through and get caught here and appropriately handled and sent back to the user. Or it can be an expected error that I can pass in here, and I will use the same code, right, to get the error message and send it back to the user. And it will make my code dry so I don't have to repeat the same code in my routes. As in the regular middleware, we're going to be using request, response, and next. So we're going to import these types, request, response, and next function from Express. We will also import a function getErrorMessage from the utils.cs file. This function doesn't exist yet. We're going to be creating it in a minute. The error handler middleware behaves exactly the same way as a regular middleware, so we will be exporting default function error handler. However, the first parameter that we're going to be passing is actually an error, and this error will be type unknown, because in JavaScript or TypeScript you can throw anything. Then we'll put our request, response, and next. First, we're going to check res.headers_send. This means our response has been already sent, and we cannot really send another response. In this case, we will use the next function and pass the error to Express's built-in error handler. Built-in error handler does a very good job in actually logging the error, so I prefer to use that. And then we simply return. If the response has not been sent, we will send our own response, and we'll use the status 500 here, and 500 means that something wrong happened on the server. There are two basic types of the response, 400 and 500. 400 usually means that the server kind of understands the response and the error lies within the client who is making the request. 500 usually means that something happened on the server and actually the server fault. So in the most cases, this is going to be the errors that happened on the server. So we will send the status 500, and then we will send the JSON response with the property error and the message. And here, since the error is unknown, we cannot just get error.message, right? We will have to use utility function getErrorMessage to get error properly. So let's go ahead and create this file. So in the src folder, let's go and create a new file called utils.ts. And in this file, we are going to put the following code. From the utils files, we're going to export function getErrorMessage, and we'll pass it error as a parameter of type unknown, and this function will be returning the string, right? We will have a few conditionals where we check if error is an instance of error, then we can access message property on the error and return it. If error is a type of object and it has a property message, then we can access this message and cast it to string and then return it. If the error is itself string, then we can return this error. And finally, if none of these conditions match, we will return a default string and error occurred. Now, if we go back to error handler, you can see that the TypeScript stopped complaining and we're all good here. So we can use this error handler in our server.ts file. In the server.ts file, first we are going to import error handler from middleware error handler, and then we're gonna use method use, no pun intended, on the app and pass it the error handler. And it is important that your error handler middleware is the last thing that you call before you export your app, because in this case, all your errors will actually get caught in this error handler. Now we have routes that we can actually call, and those are tasks routes. Let's go ahead and test our application. And the way we're going to be doing it is with a plugin that is called REST Client, right? This is the plugin for the Visual Studio Code that you can install if you don't have it installed. I already have it installed, so all I have to do is to create a file with .http extension. So in the root of our project, let's go ahead and create that file. We call it API test.http. So in this API-test.http file, we'll put the following code. Basically, this is the code to make requests to our API. This file is going to work similar to the Postman, right? If you know the Postman application to test APIs, so this file will be basically the same as Postman. The first call will be to the tasks route, and it's going to be the get request, and we're going to put 3 hashtags here, and we can say that's a list task request, right? It is important to put these 3 hashtags so you have this send request option. The next one will be get task by ID. Then after that, we have a create a new task, right? And will be a post request, and it is important to put content type application JSON header. So we telling our application that we're sending a JSON body of the request. So, and that's how the middleware express.js will kick in and understand that, hey, I gotta parse this JSON body into an object. Additionally, you can specify other headers. In our case, I put X API key, right? It's gonna be an API key, my secret, but for our purposes, we don't really need it, so we can delete it. The next call will be to update a task. That will be a put call. Again, we're sending the body, so we will have to specify content type application JSON header. And finally, there will be a call to delete a task, right? So we'll use delete method, and we send it to the tasks, and we'll specify what task ID we want to delete. Great. Now let's go ahead and spin up our application with npm run dev and do a test. Got a message that Express is running on port 3000. Let's go ahead and make a call to list our tasks. And as you can see, we got this request logged because of the Morgan middleware. It goes to the tasks. We got the response 200 back, and we got the list of tasks. Obviously, we're faking it for now. The next thing that we're going to do is to try to get the task by ID, and we received one task in the response. The same goes for creating the task, updating the task, and deleting the task. So our API is working. So the final thing that we actually need to do is to set up the GitHub repository, right? So let's go ahead and create the .gitignore file in the root of our project. In this file, we're going to be specifying which files we're not going to be committing and pushing to the repository. So those files are going to be the files in the node modules. Next, it will be the dist folder, because we're just compiling our files and we don't need to push it to the repository or commit them because they're going to get recompiled. And finally, the .env file, because we're going to be saving our environment variables and sensitive information, and we don't want to push that file to the repository. However, if you're working with other developers on a project and would like to let them know what environment variables your project is using, you can actually create a .env.example file in the root of your project, and where you can paste the names of your environment variables without the values. That way you're going to keep your sensitive information sensitive and secure. Now let's go ahead and initialize the Git repository in our project. So we'll do it with the command git init. And the Git repository is initialized. And as you can see, the dist, the node modules, and the .env files are grayed out, so they're excluded. And we need to make a commit, right? It's going to be an initial commit. So we're going to do git add space dot command. It will add all the files. And the next command that we're going to do is commit, right? So we'll put git commit, and then we can put the message with a -m, and we put initial commit. And now our files got committed, and we can set up Git repository and push our files to that repository. This is how you can quickly build REST API that you can use for proof of concepts or small projects. But if you would like to know how to build a more robust API with all the bells and whistles, check out my course Node.js REST API Mastery, Build Powerful APIs with Express, where we build a complete production-ready API step by step.